Hey YouTube, this is Jaden Stern, coaching Team Shadowstrike, and this is going to be another deck profile for you guys. If you guys did watch my Jewel Knight deck profile, you guys heard in it that I had another Royal Paladin deck profile that I'd been working on, and then I finally have all the stuff to where I could slap it together, and I wanted to share it with you guys. This is using a lot of the stuff that Shion in the anime uses. This is the best build that I could come up with that is kind of close to his, except there is one difference, and honestly, I kind of think Shion would really enjoy this deck actually, but it's kind of like my take on his build in a way, because Shion is starting to develop into one of my favorite characters on the anime, even better than Chrono in ways. But excuse me. But anyway, guys, I'm going to jump straight into this deck profile, and I'm going to talk about a couple other things as we go through it. So here we go. So for the starting Vanguard, we play Shining Knight Milius. So this is the starter from the G Trial deck. Generation Break 1. Counterblast 1, move him into the soul, and call a grade 2 from the deck. That is a phrase you will hear quite a lot. But, you know. So we play the Milius. For triggers, we play 4 copies of Bringer of Dreams Balonius. This is the Ultimile specified trigger. Whenever Ultimile attacks, you can suck this into the soul, give Ultimile 5,000 extra power, and draw a card. So. And then we play 4 Future Knight Lu. I know his effect is pointless, but I wanted to have 8 double rare critical triggers, so leave me alone. And then also we play our 4 Margul, just because he's the best draw trigger for Royal Paladin. And then I decided to go classic on the heal triggers and play 4 of the old Yggdrasil Maiden Elaines, because I just don't like the Pegasus that much. Grade 1s. We play 4 copies of Holy Knight Guardian, because this we want the unflipping Royal Paladin. They counterblast quite a fair amount, so we just want to have access to our counterblast whenever we want. And then we play 4 copies of Laurel Knight Sisylis. This is our Stride Enabler, and also it helps us search out Ultimile, which we will maybe do in specifically this build. It'll make more sense here in a minute. Next, we play 3 copies of Knight of Shield Bash. This is a card that Shion uses quite a bit, and I've never really thought about using it, but I'm giving it a try. It is basically when he's on the rear guard and he attacks, he gains +2, making him a 9k swinger. I don't know how I feel about him quite yet. And then the other 2 grade 1s I play is 2 of the basic 8k vanilla. This is really very, very basic. There's really nothing spectacular about this grade 1 lineup, but I really couldn't think what to make these. The best option would be to put the Jewel Knight engine in here, where you play the, like I did with my original, where you played the Sword Me's, just the grade 1 boosters to get your boosters out with calling all your grade 2s. But I wanted to try something different, and I do think this would work, because it's doing what Royal Paladin does best, and that's literally just rush. So, and plus you guys have seen me just add this basic Sword Me engine in a Royal Paladin deck before, and I just didn't want to do that again, so I decided to try something else. So, grade 2s. We play 4 copies of Knight of Fragment. I don't know why I was about to say Knight of Friendship. This is one of our best rear guards. Generation Break 1. Whenever you have 2 grade 2s on the field or more, he gets +2,000 power, and the skill of whenever his attack hits a Vanguard, you may unflip 1 damage and soul charge 1. So, pretty good. Really, really, really good. Next, we play 3 copies of Knight of Refinement Benenziel. This is a really good card that came out in set 2, and this was one of the cards I was having to track down because I really didn't want to order him because he's really not that much. It was just hard to find him. His ability is when this unit is placed on the rear guard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Altamile in its card name, you may Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1. If you do, search your deck for up to one grade 2 card not named Knight of Refinement Benenziel, call it to rear guard, shuffle your deck, and that unit and this unit get plus 2,000 power. So it kind of gives your field a little bit of a boost. You can boost your rear guards up a little bit. So that's good. Next, we play 2 Starlight Violinist. This card is good, but I wouldn't want to play too many of it just because it's an 8K. Basically, whenever it's placed on the Vanguard circle or the rear guard circle, you may Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, and call a grade 2 from your deck. Basically, it does Benenziel's effect, but you don't have to have Altamile as your Vanguard, and it's not a Generation Break 1 unit. He's literally there for the early game, and that's it. And then I play 2 copies of Liberat, the 10K vanilla, and that's simply because I don't have a 4th Benenziel, and I really don't know if a 4th one would matter that much, and I don't want to play more Starlight Violinist, so I really didn't know what else to make this. You could make this anything you want. You may notice that there's no Blaster Blade Seekers in here, so this is not a Sing Saver variant. So you might be wondering what it really is. So first, we play 3 copies of Blue Sky Knight Altamile. This is our main grade 3. This is going to get us the most power. He is a very, very underrated card, in my opinion. And out of the 3 trial decks that came out at the start of the G anime, he is my favorite. I'll read through them real quick. Generation Break 2. During your turn, all of your units in the front row gain 5,000 power, so that is absolutely awesome. You can really get a big field pretty quickly. Then his other ability, his Stride ability, which we will be using quite frequently. During your turn, when your G unit strides, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 2 cards from your hand, call them to separate rear guards, choose up to 2 of your units, and those unit gets plus 5,000 power for a counterblast of 1. So you do not have to superior call units from your hand, but you can basically just counterblast 1 and choose 2 units to give them 5k if you want to. You can if you do choose to call 2 units, you don't have to give the 5k to those 2 units. It's 2 different abilities. Okay, so the problem with this deck, and that it's always had, is it's strongly reliant on grade 2. But the problem is when you run out of grade 2s, this deck just kind of falls apart. So I decided there was another version of Royal Paladin that I wanted to try out, but I had to track down these along with some other cards. And the other main grade 3 I play in this deck is 4 copies of the King of Knights Vanguard Azel. Now, this card is the Revival Legion for the King of Knights Alfred, and you might know, and you probably noticed that we play 9 grade 3s in this deck, but you really want to play more than one Alfred because you don't want to play just one and then it wind up in the damage zone, and then you're kind of just stuck there. So you play 2 for the safety. So, and this is the first time I think I've ever used this in a deck in years, so it's kind of just that was another reason I wanted to throw it together, but also because Azel really is a pretty amazing card. Basically, his ability is Legion with an understood power of 21. His ability is Soul Charge 2 and Soul Blast 2, and then discard a card from your hand whose name is also on your Vanguard circle. So in that case, you would have to discard a copy of Alfred or a copy of Azel. If this unit is in Legion, search your deck for up to 1 grade 2, 1 grade 1, and 1 grade 0, and call them to separate rear guards, and shuffle your deck. So it can kind of help you rebuild your field if you're facing something like a Narukami Kagero Shadow Paladin or something like that. And then his other skill is whenever this unit is in Legion, it cannot be boosted. And the reason for that is when you're in Legion, it will get Alfred's ability. Whenever it attacks, you get 2,000 for every other Royal Paladin on your board. So you can gain, he can be swinging for 31 every single turn. You can use Alfred's other ability, too, to counterblast 3 and superior call a grade 2 or less Royal Paladin from your deck, but you'll more than likely never use that skill. In fact, I can guarantee you I never will. But, so I like this because your grade 2s, you need to be able to replenish those. You'll want to replenish triggers, and this, in my opinion, is it's not as good as Sing Saver, because Sing Saver is a restanding Vanguard, and that's always better. But I'm not saying that this is a wrong choice either. They both have their validities and strong points, but I just wanted to show you guys something new that I've been working on because I've been wanting to play this deck and test it out myself. So I haven't been able to test it yet, but I'm really looking forward to trying it out. So that is the main deck. Then for the strides, it's pretty much the same thing. We play 2 Gal Blades. If his attack hits, we can call it grade 2 or higher out of the deck. Samuel, who's going to give if we have a full field, when he attacks, counterblast 2. Our opponent takes 1 damage, and then we can continue our turn and try and push for the win. The 1 Blizza, because I just like playing Blizza, and then we play our 4 Saint Blow. That's going to help us push for a big number, have a crit on him, and just do some major stuff. Now, the one thing that I'm really interested about this deck is we do not know what the new Altamile does. Out of set 4, guys, because I've never really been a big Neonectar fan. I'm thinking about possibly rebuilding Neonectar for a 3rd time and trying it one last time. But do not hold your breath. I haven't decided quite yet. I might pick the deck up if I can get it cheap, like on eBay or something like that, but I don't know for sure. The only thing in set 4 that I'm really interested in is the support for this deck. I'm really looking forward to the grade 2 for this deck that can be used as a booster. I think his name is Tekgal. But I'm really interested to find out what the new Altomile does. So, or even what Chronojet and Asha's does. I mean, we've now seen all 3 of them in the anime. Spoiler, I'm sorry if you haven't watched the new episode yet. But we have not found out what any of them do, even though we've seen Next Stage twice in battle. But I have a feeling we'll at least see what Asha does next week. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much it. So this is, I really don't know what to call it. You know, I guess you could call it an Altamile Lae'zel deck, but I really just call it a different way to look at the Royal Paladin Stride deck. The Sing Saver variants, guys, are still the most popular for the obvious reasons, but I just wanted to try something different. And because I think Azel is a very good card, and if you are wanting to play Royal Paladin and you can't afford Sing Saver, because Sing Saver is pretty expensive right now, I still think he's floating around 22 to 24 a piece, somewhere in there. You know, but Azel is a common, and Alfred's, this one's SP, but he's would even be that much as an SP, but the triple rares you can get for $5. And Azel, you can get play sets of him for like $4. So this is a pretty good budget deck. The only cards in this deck that are really worth anything is Saint Blow, and that's about it. I mean, it's really not that expensive of a deck to play. So this is actually a pretty good budget deck. If you take out your Saint Blows, you really aren't looking at that expensive of a deck here, and it's still pretty effective. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. In the comment section below, make sure you give me your thoughts, your comments, suggestions. If there's a video you'd like to see, you know how the process works, guys. So just please give me some feedback. I always like hearing from you guys. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up this video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you next time.